Hi there, I'm Dustin. Do you have a comfort show that you always go back to? Or perhaps there's a TV series you haven't seen in a while and wonder if it's still any good? Well, welcome to the Rewatch Recap, a show where friends and I will queue up an older TV show we've seen and then give a breakdown with commentary of how we feel watching it now, and making fun of it if it doesn't hold up, of course. Dropping episodes weekly, it's easy to rewatch along with us. We'll be focusing on shows from most any era, so suggestions are always welcome. First up is the first season of MTV's Scream, the series, with guest host Aureline from the Spooky and Strange podcast. And after that, we'll go back to the 1990s for the canceled too soon teen series, My So-Called Life, with guest host Kay from F My Work Life. It's sure to be fun, so be sure to check in with us every Monday on the Rewatch Recap.
This podcast contains strong language and adult situations and may not be suitable for those who are easily offended.
Welcome to Fuck My Work Life's afternoon break. A quick getaway from your daily grind. Step away from whatever work you're doing, grab your favorite beverage, put your feet up, and enjoy.
All right, welcome to another episode of our afternoon break series. I'm Kay.
I'm Jay. Welcome back, fuckers.
And today's special guest is Derek Duvall from the Derek Duvall Show. Welcome.
Hey,
Welcome,
hello,
Derek.
everyone. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I can't complain. I could, but who'd listen?
Hopefully
We'd listen.
some listeners. You never know, though, you know. So why don't you tell everybody about your podcast?
Oh, boy. Where do we start? Basically, the Derek Duvall Show is my brainchild. As when I was growing up in Great Britain and then when I moved to America, Johnny Carson was on The Tonight Show. And Johnny Carson used to have this beautiful gift of bringing people from all walks of life onto his show. He had scientists, doctors, musicians, actors, and so forth. As the Tonight Show became more and more commercialized, that kind of went to the wayside, and you started having Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt on there all the time. My thing is also, I was a huge Conan O'Brien fan, and Conan O'Brien's tried to start doing that again. And so the Derek Duvall Show to me is my way of paying tribute to Carson and O'Brien by bringing the people who you will never see on, Jay Leno or they're not even on Blair anymore, but like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. These people have done extraordinary things with their life, and they deserve 5 to 15 minutes of the spotlight so that they can share their remarkable gift with the world. And I mean, some of the people that I've had on the show, I would never have had the opportunity to speak to unless I've done something like this. Like I just had, I'm not going to name drop real fast, but I just had the director of SETI on my show. The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, one of the most well-read and published astrophysicists. It was incredible. I never would have had the opportunity to speak to this guy if I had never done the Derek Duvall Show.
Yeah,
there is a line in the musical Hamilton that I've kind of ingrained in my memory. It's basically, I want to build something that's going to outlive me, and I would love this to be my legacy after I'm gone. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Nice.
Absolutely. And like I said before we started recording, you have some pretty amazing guests on your show.
Thank you. It's very nice of you to say so.
Yeah, one of my favorites, just because it's one of my favorite silly movies, was when you had I can't think of his name right now,
Robert
but
Hayes.
Robert Hayes, yes, from Airplane.
Yeah, he was actually so nice. And the funny thing about it is, and I don't. This is one of those behind the scenes things. It was my 5th interview I'd ever done for the Derek Duvall Show. I was raw. I was still nervous as hell. I'm like, oh my God, I got Robert Hayes. Are you kidding me? And the best part about that is, and you don't hear it, that interview went on for 4.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't have the balls to say, we need to stop now. And he was like your fun. He was just like the fun uncle, didn't have a bad word to say about anybody. Very well read, very, very respectful. He understood it was kind of like my first go at this, and he was just the nicest, sweetest man. And I would love, hopefully, one day to make his acquaintance in person. He was just a nice guy.
Yeah, he totally came off that way in the interview too. Just totally down to earth, sweet guy. It was fun to listen to his stories.
Well, thank you. We got we got one that just happened a couple of days ago that I'm real excited about, and I'm still very proud of. We got Peter Tatchell on the show, and that was a just home run for us because if you know anything about him, he's like basically the world's most probably famous activist for human rights, gay rights, and so forth. And believe it or not, and this is kind of a strange in a way, we've actually become kind of little pen pals, and we just, how you doing and all that stuff. He's like a really, really nice guy, but the things he's done and the things he's been through just defy logic and belief. So
I'll have to look him up. I don't know much about him, but he sounds fascinating.
He has a documentary that just came on Netflix called Hating Peter Tatchell. It's got Ian McKellen. It's got Stephen Fry, a whole bunch of people. You should check it out. So
yeah, I'm writing it down right now.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm rambling. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
No problem.
You reached out to us because you've got some fun workplace stories to share.
Oh, God, yeah. All right, so where do we start? Okay, so I used to work for a manufacturer's representative a couple of years ago, and I was the pretty high ranking in terms of purchasing department. And one of the high-ups came up to me and asked me to make an alteration to a legal document and change the terms and conditions for purchasing for this, from net 30 days to net 45. Well, that technically, I'm not going to be groundbreaking here, but that's technically fraud.
Oh,
and I'm like, you know what? I've got too pretty a face. I wouldn't do well. I would not do well in orange. So I told him, on your bike, I'm not doing it. So it became this whole thing. And in the end, I told them, I said, you have to do it yourself. I'm not putting my name on it. I'm not doing anything because that's just a one-way ticket to the jailhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So they went ahead and did it themselves, and they altered the document, and they moved on with their lives. Anyway, it became a whole thing. It was very uncomfortable in the office because I told them I'm not going to do this. So anyway, about 3 months later, I never thought anything of it again. Nothing, it just went away. 3 months later, I went home to see my family in Great Britain, and while I'm away on my work email doesn't work anymore. I'm like, that's strange.
Uh-oh.
My work email is always on. So anyway, I called from London and I said, "Oi," I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we turned your emails off so you can enjoy your vacation." I'm like, "Oh, that's a red flag if I ever heard one."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I leave Wales. They lost my luggage in Amsterdam. I get back to the States. I got no clean clothes. I got no toiletries. And anyway, I got a call the next day. I was going to go back. I got back on the Monday, and I was going to go back to work on the Wednesday. And I got a call from the boss. He says, "Hey, I need to meet up with you at the pub." I thought he was just going to go with what I've missed and bring me up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
I get there, and he's got a yellow manila envelope and said, "Basically, you're fired." I had not been off the plane for 6 hours.
Wow.
And he did it in a public place. And gave me some pure bullshit, what's going on. Anyway, turns out, like I said, it was because, because of the fraud thing. And they said I wasn't a team player.
Yeah.
You're not willing to go to jail for this company, so sorry.
So, long story short. So anyway, I ended up, losing my job, and it took a year to find work because it was right around, the market wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I'm leaving, he's, I'll give you a good reference. Don't worry about it. No problem. Anyway, as I started finding out, he was torpedoing me in interviews, saying that I was not a team player and what have you. And I'm like, so I was getting a great interview, and it was a really good job too. Good money, good hours. And they said, you got a bad reference. I said, I'm sorry? They said, you've got a bad reference. I said, from who? And they said, I won't say his name, but him. I said, that can't be right. And then about 2 days later, another person called me and said almost the verbatim same thing. I'm like, you bastard. They had to keep, honestly, my friends had to keep me from literally driving up there and just beating the hell out of him.
That's illegal, right?
Well, it's not illegal to give a bad reference. It's illegal to give details why you're giving a bad reference.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, the PSS story is the guy couldn't manage his own company, ran into the ground, and I'm better off for it because I'm got my sanity, and I don't need to be in that kind of environment where people can, treat people like shit like that.
Yeah. And like try to get you to break the law. For
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, thank you.
So the best part is, now I have to be very careful how I say this. Okay.
Mhm.
So this story comes from a place I worked at very briefly, but rhymes with Glamazon.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I think
Can
I
you
get
be
it.
more specific?
Yeah, Glamazon. So anyway, I'm sure you've heard the nightmare stories about people and what it's like to
Mhm.
work there, and there's no secret that it's the worst working conditions in history.
Yeah.
So anyway, during the pandemic, work was not very plentiful here where I live, and so obviously, I needed work. So swallowed my pride, went and got a job working at Amazon, and I was doing very well. Believe it or not, got promoted because of my military background. They love veterans. That I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a good leader. Anyway, so doing well and what have you, and I guess there was a kid who had come down from another department. He was Asperger's, and they put him in a very high stress environment. If you know anything about Asperger's, that is the
Yeah.
worst thing you could do to someone.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and made an accommodation to help him, and apparently it got me demoted for helping some kid, and it was a whole thing about it, and I was very, very upset about it. And thankfully, I don't work there anymore. But it's funny. I've seen what they do there, and everything you hear in the news is 1,000,000,000% correct.
How do they get away with
It's
that?
because they have enough money.
I
too.
know.
Yeah,
It's just horrible.
They have more money than God, pretty much. It's just
It's
yeah. And
you
the thing
want
is,
to sue us? Okay, fine. We're going to countersue.
Right.
That's going to bury you.
Yeah.
so the funny thing is, right now is in New York, they just had their first union, right? Just formed their first union. The problem is that Amazon now can just wait them out, because they can just say they won't agree to terms and conditions, even though the workers voted to unionize. Now,
Yeah.
the problem with that is, like I said, Amazon's got more money than God. They can wait this out to the end of time.
Mhm.
So, like, there's I remember reading somewhere there's I want to say it was either Pepsi or something like that. They still don't have a bargaining agreement. It's been a couple of years,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my two horrible stories. So yeah, fuck that work life.
Yeah, fuck
Oh,
those
yeah.
work lives. I've got a couple questions for you because a
Yeah, fire
while
away.
back we did we were reading some snippets from articles about people working on Amazon. So
Okay.
couple of them that stand out to me, like the warehouse workers, because they had a quota they had to meet. They were afraid to go
Yes.
take bathroom breaks, so they'd be peeing in bottles at
Yep.
their stations.
Yep,
Oh my
Gatorade bottles.
God.
Also, the elderly, the people who are above their 50s, would wear diapers.
Oh my
Wow.
God. That is horrible.
So the part that you're actually referring to, there's two departments. One is basically the ones who pull the material out and box it. That's the packing department. Those are the people who are under the highest stress, because
Yeah.
they have to pack X number of boxes a minute. And you'd be amazed. I've seen them do it. It's pretty impressive. But the ones that I feel bad for the most is, and this is the part that I have to be very careful how I say this, because I don't want this coming back on me. Amazon is a young person's game. It is marketed to young people because young people have no ties. Young people can pick up and move on a moment's notice. Amazon is absolutely determined to run old people out, because they can't keep up the demand with the younger people. Now, I'm in my 40s. I thought that I was in pretty damn good shape. I work out, take good care of myself. I was dying. That place, I'm not trying to sound, woe is me, but that place broke things in me that I still haven't been able to fix yet. Like, my knees are still bad. I had a shoulder injury.
Oh, geez.
I mean, it's a very, very demanding job. And the peeing in the bottles, yes, it's true. I've heard people actually dropping a deuce in one of the totes.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Was that because they just had to go
Yeah.
drop a deuce and couldn't, or
Yep,
was it
pretty
like a
Protest.
No, it was because they were afraid to lose their job.
Oh,
And then,
God.
I mean, you hear the story about the drivers. Now, the drivers one's even more true. You see them in the woods, peeing in the woods because they can't stop at a gas station.
They can't stop. Yeah,
You can't stop.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's why. Like I've seen Amazon drivers that are angry.
Yeah.
Angry.
They
And
will-
I know it's stress.
Yeah.
I know it's stress because you see the little Amazon swoop. You know, it's like the Nike swoosh. Like you see the Amazon swoop and you're like, oh, those guys are so stressed out.
yeah.
Because if they don't get all these packets done, that could be it for them.
Yep, 100%. Now, one of the things I will say, and this is the God's honest truth, is so one of the things also is Amazon has one of the highest accident ratings of all companies. Every day, like we would have safety stand downs all the time. People, dehydration, people not lifting boxes with their legs and stuff like that. Safety. And Amazon just kind of just gets under the radar a little bit with that. But you know what? And the other thing too is they're union busting in there. Like we got people. I heard. I have a lot of friends who still work there. They got people coming in and they're talking about showing anti-union videos, to the workers like once every week, and then they have anti-union people coming in and talking to them. They're on contract. It's just a fucking system.
It's like the new Walmart.
Yeah.
It doesn't even seem like Walmart is that bad.
No, but I remember.
I know Walmart's bad.
There was one point where when I lived in Vegas, I had 2 jobs and Walmart was one of them at night. And Walmart, to get hired, you were shown an anti-union video.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to unionize you, but we wouldn't be able to pay you what we're paying you. And it was like $9 an hour.
Yeah.
When you're done with this, go to watch John Oliver. You know John Oliver?
Yeah.
Watch his one about unions. And there's one thing about they talk about, they have actors coming saying, if you work, this is for Target, and they're like, if you were in a union, you wouldn't be able to help this customer. You'd be like, what? Sorry, not my problem. Walk away. And it's like, what person wouldn't want to work in a union where you can tell a customer, go fuck yourself? Not my problem.
Exactly.
Figure it out yourself.
Sounds great.
Yeah. You simple-minded prick. Go figure it out yourself,
Oh, I bet everyone working in customer service has the desire to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell everybody to fuck off while grabbing their crotch and like walking backwards.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. But you know what? I will say this. Can I give one more? Real brief?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Right. So this is going back 10, 11 years ago. I got a job briefly working for a real estate company. And I was, recruited, I brought in. And first things first was everything was cushy, everything was good, everyone was happy. And then things got weird. And the lady who ran the place started texting me at all hours of the morning, telling me I'm a shitty employee. And
oh God,
you're one of my biggest regrets and what have you. And I remember showing it to my wife, or she was my fiance at the time, and she's like, "What the fuck, man?" so anyway, I left, and that was yeah.
Like, I just don't understand what goes through people's minds to treat their employees that way. Like, what is wrong with you?
I mean, honestly, that's harassment.
That is definitely harassment.
To text you with that kind of shit, that's absolutely harassment.
Yeah. But you know what, though? Right now I'm working for a mortgage company. I'm real, happy there, and things are going well right now, and I'm kind of just in a good place work wise. So yeah, good. It's nice to actually have come home and not be stressed and what have you. The only stress I have is the Dark Duvall show.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the stress you give yourself, though, and it's much more rewarding. I feel like at the end of it all.
Absolutely.
The stress you choose is always more rewarding when, when it, every week or every couple weeks, like the stress kind of dissipates a little bit.
Yeah. And
then, naturally you put yourself back in that stressful situation, but you choose to. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm just, like I said, I'm just thinking about it now, but I'm sure there are millions of people all over the world who've had absolutely some of the shittiest jobs in the world, and but I always, how crude can I get on the show? Just out of curiosity.
As crude as you want.
Okay. So now I've told you before, I am ex-Navy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always tell this, and you can use this for your show if you want to. I give you full permission. Okay.
Okay.
I tell everybody this. You may be having the worst job. You may be having the worst day of your life. But keep in mind that in the Navy, there is some fresh kid right out of boot camp who was squeegeeing semen off of shower stall walls.
Oh, God. Was that you, Derek?
No, I lucked out on that one. But I always tell people that if you think your life sucks, just remember there is some kid just came out of boot camp in the Navy who was squeegeeing semen off the walls of shower stalls.
Jay, you were in the Navy. Did you have to do that ever?
I did not.
Well, you got lucky.
I did.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Of course. Anytime, guys. Anytime.
So why don't you let everyone know where they can find the Derek Duvall Show?
Oh, awesome. Okay, folks. The Derek Duvall Show can be found at derekduvallshow.com. It can also be found on Spotify. It can be found on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, I encourage everyone to check out our new merch store. If you go to derekduvallshow.com, go to the left-hand side of the screen, hit the button merch. We have joined up with TeePublic, and we are absolutely loving the material that they're putting out for us. And honestly, there's great sales going on right now. I highly encourage everyone to do it. Also, you can find us on all the social medias at Derek Duvall Show.
Excellent. Yes, everyone go check out the Derek Duvall Show. Like I said earlier, and like Derek has pointed out, he's got some really cool guests and really interesting interviews, all kinds of topics. Definitely go check that out. Thank you again, Derek.
Thanks a lot, guys.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, everyone. Bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers.
Thank you for joining our afternoon break. If you have a workplace story, email it to fmwlpod@gmail.com or call our rant line at 310-818-3273.
Please follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss out on new episodes. And if you're enjoying the show, take a moment to rate and review.
You can find us on all the socials at FMWL Come say hello and check out all our amazing indie podcast friends. Until next time,
bye, fuckers.
I don't know about you, but with a busy work schedule, I never have time to sit down and read. Luckily, there's Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics you choose and just start playing. Follow specific topics from sports, tech, business, science, or Bitcoin. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them aloud. They even have digital radio. And do you want to know the best part? They have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. And you can find our podcast, Fuck My Work Life, there too. Download and try Newsly for free by visiting www.newsly.me or clicking on the link in our show notes. And be sure to use promo code FWL for a 1-month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling and start listening with Newsly.